The year was 1910, a time of great change and uncertainty in America. A group of powerful men gathered under a veil of secrecy. These were not just any men, they were some of the most influential bankers and financiers of the time. Their destination? Jekyll Island, a secluded retreat off the coast of Georgia. This island, known for its exclusivity and privacy, was the perfect location for their secretive meeting. These men were not vacationing, they were there to reshape the financial future of America. Their discussions were intense, their plans ambitious. This was no ordinary meeting. It was the clandestine birthplace of the Federal Reserve System. The decisions made here would alter the course of American history. The implications of this gathering were enormous. The decisions made on Jekyll Island would have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. They were setting the foundation for a new financial order. For at stake was the control of the nation's money supply. This power would be concentrated in the hands of a select few. The creation of the Federal Reserve would centralize financial power like never before. The secrecy surrounding the meeting was no accident. The attendees knew their plans would be met with resistance if they were made public. They operated with the utmost discretion, aware of the potential backlash. They understood that the American people would never stand for a private banking cartel controlling their economy. The idea of a few men having such power was unthinkable to many. So they operated in the shadows. Every move was calculated, every decision made with the utmost care to avoid detection. The story of Jekyll Island is a story of power, secrecy, and the concentration of wealth. It is a tale of how a small group of men could shape the destiny of an entire nation. It is a story that every American should know, for it reveals how our financial system came to be and the forces that continue to shape it today. Understanding this history is crucial to understanding the present and future of our economy. Jekyll Island today may seem like a peaceful retreat, but its past is filled with intrigue and monumental decisions. The shadows of those decisions still loom large over our financial system. The legacy of that secret meeting continues to influence our lives, reminding us of the power that a few can wield over many. And so the shadow of Jekyll Island remains, a testament to the enduring impact of that fateful gathering in 1910. The architects of the Federal Reserve System were not ordinary men. They were visionaries, strategists and power brokers who understood the intricacies of finance and the importance of control. They were titans of finance and industry, individuals who had amassed great wealth and influence through their business acumen and strategic alliances. Among them was Nelson Aldrich, a powerful senator and the father-in-law of John D. Rockefeller, Jr. Aldrich was a key figure in the Senate, wielding significant influence over financial legislation. Representing the House of Morgan was Henry Davison. A senior partner in J.P. Morgan and Company, Davison was known for his sharp mind and his ability to navigate the complex world of banking with ease. Paul Warburg, a partner in Kuhn, Loeb and Company, provided international banking expertise. Warburg's knowledge of European banking systems was invaluable in shaping the Federal Reserve. These men represented the pinnacle of financial power. They were the elite, the ones who had the means and the connections to shape the future of the American economy. They controlled vast fortunes and wielded enormous influence over government policy. Their decisions could sway markets and impact the lives of millions. Their goal at Jekyll Island was to create a system that would cement their power and ensure their continued dominance over the American economy. The secrecy of these meetings underscored the gravity of their mission. Their motivations were not entirely altruistic. While they spoke of stability and economic growth, their underlying intent was to create a system that served their interests. They believed that a centralized banking system would benefit the nation by providing a more stable and flexible monetary framework. This system would help prevent the financial panics that had plagued the country. However, they also understood that such a system would give them unprecedented control over the money supply and therefore the economy as a whole. This control would allow them to influence economic conditions to their advantage. The attendees at Jekyll Island were not driven by a desire to serve the public good. Their primary concern was to create a system that would protect their interests and enhance their power. They were motivated by self-interest and a desire to protect and expand their own wealth and influence. The creation of the Federal Reserve was seen as a means to this end. The Federal Reserve, they believed, would be the key to achieving these goals. By controlling the nation's money supply, they could ensure their dominance in the financial world and secure their legacies for generations to come. The central objective of the Jekyll Island meeting was to craft legislation that would create a central bank in America. This bank, to be called the Federal Reserve, would have the power to issue currency, control interest rates, and act as the lender of last resort for the banking system. The attendees understood that a central bank was essential to their plans for greater control over the financial system. By controlling the money supply, they could control inflation, deflation, and the overall direction of the economy. This would give them enormous leverage over businesses, politicians, and the American people. The Federal Reserve Act, as it came to be known, was carefully designed to conceal its true purpose. It was presented to the public as a measure to stabilize the banking system and prevent financial panics. However, its true intent was to centralize power in the hands of a select few. The Jekyll Island meeting was not about creating a fairer or more stable financial system. It was about consolidating power and control within a small elite group. The Federal Reserve Act was the tool they would use to achieve this goal. The success of the Federal Reserve System depended on its acceptance by Congress and the American people. This was no small feat, as the concept of a central bank was met with considerable skepticism and resistance. This presented a significant challenge. The American public had a long-standing aversion to centralized banking, rooted in historical experiences and ideological beliefs. The idea of a central bank was deeply unpopular in America. The memories of the first and second banks of the United States lingered in the collective consciousness, casting a long shadow over any new proposals for centralized financial control. Memories of the first and second banks of the United States, seen as tools of the wealthy elite, fueled widespread distrust of centralized banking. These institutions were perceived as instruments of economic oppression, benefiting the rich at the expense of the common man. To overcome this resistance, the architects of the Federal Reserve embarked on a campaign of deception and manipulation. They understood that to win over the public and Congress, they needed to reshape the narrative around central banking. They used their influence in the media to promote the idea of a central bank as a solution to the nation's economic woes. Through newspapers, pamphlets, and public speeches, they painted a picture of the Federal Reserve as a necessary institution for economic stability. They argued that the Federal Reserve would stabilize the currency, prevent financial panics, and promote economic growth. These benefits were presented as essential for the nation's prosperity and security. These arguments were carefully crafted to appeal to the public's desire for stability and prosperity. The promise of a stable economy and a secure financial future resonated deeply with a populace weary of economic uncertainty. However, they were based on false promises and deliberate distortions of the truth. The reality of the Federal Reserve's structure and purpose was far removed from the idyllic vision presented to the public. The Federal Reserve, they claimed, would be a public institution answerable to Congress and the people. This portrayal was crucial in gaining public trust and legislative approval. In reality, it was designed to be a private corporation, controlled by the very bankers it was supposed to regulate. This hidden control ensured that the interests of the financial elite would be safeguarded. The campaign to sell the Federal Reserve to the American people was a triumph of propaganda and manipulation. Through a combination of fear-mongering and false assurances, the architects of the Fed managed to sway public opinion. By exploiting public fears and aspirations, the architects of the Fed were able to secure the passage of the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, ushering in a new era of centralized banking in America. This act marked a significant shift in the nation's financial landscape, embedding the Federal Reserve at the heart of the American economy.